And hello, everyone. 'Tis I, not Miss Amanda Jane, but your barfly known as Digi Damon. Uh, Miss Amanda Jane is out and about doing Amanda things, and so that leaves it to little old me to step up and pretend to be a host. So, y'all are stuck with me. That's just how that's going to work. Uh, so, today, because what's in your glass is I'm going with blackberry flavored whiskey, Bird Dog. Good stuff. If you haven't tried it, it's got a sweet aftertaste, but a little bit of a burn to let you know it's there. So it's always fun. Let's see. Don't worry, Black Box Tom will be on his way shortly. So I got a little housekeeping to do. All right. So our hats off and well wishes to Thunder Rosa, whose child has currently been in the hospital. Not going to get into the specifics. If you follow her, you know what's going on. It's not our place to say, but definitely our hearts go out to you. We love you very, very much. So while we wait for Mr. Tom to show up, I got to go over the birthdays. All right. Let's see if I've got this right. We've got Dragon Lee. Happy birthday. Giovanna Ebronio. Happy birthday. Kevin Von Erich. You got to love those Von Erichs. I'm telling you. Ron Simmons, because damn. Tom Lawler. Buddy Roberts. David Finley. Johnny Rods. There's a name you haven't heard in a while. Mike Bennett. Omos. You have the Godfather. There's something. We have Alex Bright. Cash Wheeler. Earl Hebner. Melissa Santos. Odyssey Jones. Slim J. Woman, or for Nancy Benoit. We have Colton Gunn, Gary Albright, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Kaz Hayashi, the Blue Meanie. Saw the guy a couple weeks ago. Teruyano, Malachi Black, Andre the Giant, Bateman, Blake Howard, Kip Sabian, Maxine Dupree. That's the best I got there. Psychosis. Tom Phillips, Acom, Caden Carter, the Road Dog, Vanessa Bourne. I'm going to skip over that one, just controversy. Crimson, Elton Prince, Garrett Dillon, Kota Ibushi, Leva Bates. Love that woman. Very nice. Go check out her Twitch. Mr. T, because I pity the fool. Sean Mooney, A1. Brian Pillman, senior, not junior. I think that's where I'm at for that. Oh, yeah, I went a little ahead of that. So, yeah, Amanda's just going to correct the hell out of me later. And that's fine. She will. That's kind of her job. I am no good at this birthdays. It might be everyone else's favorite segment of the show. Me, I fail at it. I am so not good. And there's not a Miss Amanda Jane school of reading birthdays. She just gave me the basics and said, well, you'll figure it out. And maybe kinda. All right, checking over, make sure everything's looking good and happy. All right, so God, not normally this short. All right, so let's see. We had a lot going on with a lot of different product. Probably the biggest thing people were talking about and still talking about is that AEW had their broadcast cut off like a lot. Had its own emergency weather strip and everything. And then they put on, of all things, The Rock doing Black Adam, which I don't know, that's a toss up in my mind of what you should have watched. But it's not something you see often. It makes you wonder. I know there's been lots of rumors to concerns of the streaming company, things of that nature. And you really can't say, but considering a lot of the things we've talked about on the show in terms of what is and isn't working with the company, that morale might be high on the back end of things. But the truth of it is that at the end of the day, it's not a good look. It's really not a good look, especially like you have your diehard fans. They call themselves the sickos, I guess. I don't know anymore. It just seems to me like there's a lot more going on because everybody praises all these deals. Dave Meltzer keeps preaching on a company that doesn't release their viewership numbers. But regardless of all that, you can look at the arenas. The irony is that you have TNA, which used to have a limited but dedicated crowd. Now they're filling out buildings they haven't done in forever. And then you have AEW going to about the small dedicated crowd factor. And we can talk about buy rates and TV viewerships and whatnot all you want, but your gate is your real litmus test. If you're not drawing in the fans to pay the monies, then it is a high likelihood that you're not doing so hot. And I kind of feel like that is the case we're working on at this point, is that it's not going like they want it to. And then it's always what are they doing wrong? And there's a point to this. Because recently there was some crap like last week. WWE wasn't doing X, Y, and Z, but you know they still brought in a full house. People paid money, significant amount of money, you know, to show up. Their pay per view buys are not cheap, and people are showing up like you would not believe what the Money in the Bank ticket price is going for. The closer you get to that ring, boy, whew, I think I've heard estimates of about 3 grand or so, and I can't even imagine. I haven't even checked on what AEW stuff is, and yeah, NXT had a show canceled. We don't know why. It's low ticket buy has never been a big thing for them because, and when they first started, they just shipped everybody over to the hard cam, and they adjusted their shots accordingly. So that I don't think that's it in the slightest. I think we're more along the lines of something happened and they couldn't have an audience for it at that time. That's not necessarily an excuse. It's just how often do you see WWE canceling a show? It's happened maybe a handful of times to my memory in my lifetime. And I mean, this is going back to the E and NWA was still a competitor, and that kind of old people talk. So coming from that end of the world, to see all this, I think there's only so much you can really bank on. Bear with me a second here. All right. Sorry, just keeping the talent keeping the talent on course there. So, as I was saying, looking at all of this, even people can shit on the ratings and what they do and what they don't know, and they can shit on the product all they want. Okay. But they clearly had no idea that their episode was going to get cut so short because they just would have made it a shorter episode. Getting cut off mid content to put on a movie, like, that's no good. And I doubt we're ever going to learn specifically why, but there is something to be said about that. Justin, my brother in time, what's up, my dude? Yeah, Miss Amanda's out doing Amanda things. You know how it is. So it's the boys' night. Tom will be along shortly. I was just talking about, not necessarily what led to an AEW televised show getting cut off, but more so what that kind of tells me, as if I was, oh, by the way, Justin, what's in your glass? I forgot. My bad. Like, in my mind, AEW had no knowledge it was going to happen. And I know it's been kind of radio silent. I know there's been lots of conspiracy theories, but I'm not talking about the conspiracy. I'm more talking about what is this telling us as fans? Not the why it happened, but I can only think of maybe a handful of times where shows been stopped cold. Ah, hold on a second here. I think I got my boy. All right. I don't know, man. You had one job. I'm giving you shit. You're fine. Bear with me. I'm getting yeah, you're half and half. You're looking a little better there. Did I get that? It, yeah, tilt it down, bitch. Well, then learn to do things. Alrighty, bro.
Nothing, I guess,
Everybody,
huh?
welcome to Black Box Tom doing Black Box things. Not in a Cinemax kind of way. Uh, so we were just kind of going over something a little different. I know I didn't tell you what we were talking about because I was like, here, we'll wing it. It'll be fine. Calling an audible. So we're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Justin, my favorite and the only in time brother besides myself that I recognized. Uh,
I still can't believe I'm that dark on your end.
yeah, actually, on the stream, it's not too bad.
I don't get it. I mean, maybe it's just this camera. I don't know.
Hmm, we can work on that. You look much better than you normally do. You normally look like half a bag of pixels. So,
Thanks.
uh, I mean, the love is there. Uh, so like I can only remember a handful of times, and we're going way, 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 way back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of shows that have ever been cut prematurely with WWEF, NWA, like even NWA. Like going way, 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 way back, Crockett Promotions. I can't remember maybe a handful of times in my lifetime that
When
has
it was
just been cut.
okay. Okay. Do you want to count Halloween Havoc 1998?
Sure, WCW, let's go it.
I believe it. Yeah, it was. Piper came down. He returned.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan was there. He just won. And as soon as he came down, the pay per view just cut because
Mm.
they didn't let the companies know.
Oh, see, that's cool. No, because we're in an interesting situation right now
I don't think
where
WWE's ever done it
uh
unless
there was
the company like the broadcast the channel actually does it, which happens quite often.
yeah, but not in modern memory. I think I only remember two or three times when they were still the E. Like it really has been a long time, you know. And generally, if they know that their time slot's gonna be a little jacked, they adjust the length of the show, right?
Oh yeah,
Right,
or they have to ask for more time or whatever, maybe pay for more time or whatever.
right. They have to do a little back and forth. So, by the way, I already know what's in your glass: gin and juice.
Mm-hmm.
Roger that. I'm doing blackberry whiskey right now. It's good.
I'll try it
It,
one day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
will.
I know. So Collision or whatever it was Collision, right? That just got cut off out of nowhere.
They were having transmission problems with the station, and they ended up putting that wherever that movie with the rocks and the black something or whatever. I don't know.
Black Adam.
Yeah,
Is that the official from the channel, or is that what AEW is telling everyone else? Because
that's when the channel came on. Uh, when the show the movie came on, I was waiting. I'm like, okay. I'm asking people in the chat. I'm like, did AEW just end for you guys too? I'm like, did I miss something? Did I hit rewind? What? I'm looking. I'm
yeah,
like, and then there comes a little scroll at the bottom saying, AEW Collision will not continue to air tonight due to transmission problems or something like that. Yeah, that's what happened.
yeah, but okay,
Then they put it on. They 20Con said to have it on Max at like 11:30, which they probably didn't.
yeah, not that I've
Like
seen.
I
No,
was like, you should actually give that one episode to every person out there for free.
yeah, because they have to have a VOD of some function.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, outside of that, that's I don't. I still don't even know what the hell that's in that collection. I never
Well,
watched it.
I I didn't really watch it, but I did watch the clip of the whole scroll bar thing. And here's my weirdness of that. All right. We have seen shows go glitchy, weird, pop off, pop back on,
Mm-hmm.
streaming, but I have it has been a very, very like huge deal to get cut off like that.
That was major right there. I'm like, Tony Khan must have been going off.
Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd do that too. I'd be like, "What the hell? Why did you shut off my show?" Right?
And put on a movie.
Right, but they put it wasn't just they put on a movie. They put on a movie with one of the board members of WWE. Like,
Shit, Tony Khan.
and yeah, it just I'm not sure. Like, I'm not gonna get into the conspiracy theories of the matter, but I do
Nah,
think
I probably tell anything like that went down.
like here's our timeline universe of things I didn't think I would see. And we're going to add in that TNA Impact is filling arenas and getting better TV ratings. TV. And nobody watches fucking TV anymore.
I do.
Well, yeah, but you're not the average viewer, sir.
Well, actually, technically, I actually just throw my fire stick on, and then when wrestling comes on, I throw my cable on.
Fair. But you know, will we hear Meltzer say blah 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 so much ratings on Max? The thing is that Max does not report their viewing numbers.
No, they don't. I don't think they do with anything. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that, but
they do not, because any number he's given, people ask him to cite, and he never does. And it's a lot of people that ask him to cite.
He's bullshit honest.
Yeah, and my theory to that is, and I don't know this for sure, this is allegedly speculation.
Okay.
You know, that the reason he's so hard in with AEW to the point of ruining his reputation, not that he had a great reputation before, prior to AEW's formation, the 5 to 8 years prior, he'd really kind of gone to shit, is that something happened behind the scenes with him and WWE, which caused him to kind of go like that, because it was a hard switch.
That was really a hard switch. I've never seen something like you saw like a Tony Storm shot at something or whatever it was, then instantly to that movie. I'm like, okay, random commercial break.
Right. And
so yeah, I don't know what happened with that either, man. That was crazy.
Well, because I'm looking at the fact that TNA has, and you and I, longtime fans. Even back when AJ Styles was a clean cut little boy.
Oh yeah.
And they were trying to get him to look like Ric Flair and all that shenanigans. But they're at this point now where they're working with the talents crossing left and right. You're getting a lot of collaboration. They are gonna play a part. I don't know if it's a separate deal, but they are playing a part with Worlds Collide. Yeah, it's on their thing. Apparently, some of their.
Oh no, yeah, I remember seeing that now. Yep, I remember. Okay.
Yeah, it's on their thing. It's like cool, and there's no reason they shouldn't. They have some fantastic wrestlers who can work the lucha style.
Exactly. I'd like seeing all these companies work together.
Right. So it's like if you have these three companies, you've got this is an up and up on that end of the spectrum that should be recognized and appreciated. Meanwhile, you have somebody of the caliber of the amazing talent of Josh Alexander, who's shown up like twice. I know he debuted.
He's 2 or 3 times and he lost every match, I believe.
How do you take a guy that was one of the most dominant over forces of another company?
Right.
Oh, wait. We saw it with every Japanese performer and every TNA performer they brought over.
I just think he got shit on.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? I do. Do I like Alexander? Yes, I do. He's not the best, but I definitely do like him. But I mean, I'm like, this guy just lost his debut match, and then loses another two or three, another 2 times, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you do this to this guy?
And meanwhile, you have granted, it's a lot of non-titles, but it's back and forth between this unofficial war between TNA and NXT.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
it's the titles that and I think that's a build-up factor that
I'm still waiting for a title to change hands and go to TNA.
I think it will. It's building to that point that, like, just the more interest it garners over to TNA, the closer we get.
Right.
And like
I just want that trust to build up even more. That's what I
yeah,
want. That's the main thing I'm worried about right now.
so far so good. Every end of that agreement has been sending cream of the crop fucking talent. And I mentioned this to Amanda. Almost every person that wasn't like a medical release,
Mm-hmm.
right, has ended up in TNA. Saya Lee, Andy Hartwell. I mean, those are just two of the most recent names off the top of my head.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's almost like as one roster kind of clears its books, TNA has always had a very small roster.
Right.
So helping them
I
as
didn't even think of that. How the hell did you think of that?
well, because I was like, oh, Indy Hartwell deserves to go to the Indies because I'm a hater, because pro Dexter Loomis. Um, Despite what Marsh says, I will fight that man.
I honestly think a lot of our friends over that too. So
Well, everybody does. Like this, people have this weird misconception that just because somebody's in one company and somebody's the other, they don't talk. You're completely wrong. 1000%.
they're doing their job and they still talk to each other. They're friends.
Right. It's like one of your friends might work at Wendy's, your other boy might work at Hardee's, and you might work at McDonald's. It doesn't mean you're gonna stop fucking talking to each other. None of that changes.
Oh,
What the fuck? It amazes me how some people are so bought in. But New Japan stopped really sending people over. They're on the out even in Japan. And they used to be the only name. Now it's Noah's on the rise, Marigold's on the rise. So you're seeing that. You're seeing names leaving there, like a Jeff
Natalia was just doing a bunch of
NWA.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that. I'm like, oh, nice.
Dude, I so want to see more heel Natalia. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
It should, dude. Her work at NWA being a heel was badass.
I didn't see it all. I saw maybe clips, but outside of that,
I saw it all, bro.
I can see it.
She went straight fucking
I can't remember the last time she was actually heel.
It on ETV, it's been a long time. NWA, she went straight Uncle Brett, like heel. And some dude, I don't know if he was a plant or not, but some dude was like fucking getting in her face about some shit. She smacked the shit out of him and he dropped. I'm like, and the dude that took the recording, he went, damn, that dude just got knocked the fuck out.
That's hilarious.
So good.
Oh man.
Like, I hope it was a plant because it's a very classy NWA thing to do. But
oh, definitely.
Like, there's a part of me that says Natalia has earned that right to slap the shit out of a fan and face no repercussions.
I don't think she ever would.
No, not at that length. And
no, she's respected too much. I mean, they obviously she's a nice person, and they obviously know her. And I mean, like if it kept going nonstop, that's one thing. But
well, Natalia isn't just respected by one company; she is trained.
Oh, many.
from all different companies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I think a lot of people forget because I initially thought a different way. Not gonna lie, I
Yeah,
initially was.
the last title she actually held, I believe, was the Divas title. Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy they know that. I'm like, this poor woman has not won a women's championship since that damn ugly Divas shit.
Well, and that's the thing is, I initially was like, she's a jobber. She doesn't. She's taking up space. And then I was talking to my boss, and she was like, "You need to do your homework." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Do you realize how many times and how many people Natalia has trained? Every time you see someone get better, you should probably look at her."
But yeah, I can't remember the last time she probably won a match.
No,
A singles match, that is.
you
Unless
know,
it happened, I recently missed it.
I had to kind of, well, she's training Maxine. Like she's getting into that, getting TV time, well deserved. It's like Dolph Ziggler. Why was he kept around so long? It's simple. Not only is he that damn good, he makes anyone in the ring look that damn good.
A lot of people feel it's the same thing with the Miz. To be honest, a lot of people wonder why. Why is he still around? Because he can entertain. He
Yep.
does his job.
At his worst, he is better than at his worst promo. We're
Hmm.
talking he can have a cold, wrenching over in COVID. He can still cut a better promo than Ricochet. I mean, I will give the man some credit. He has gotten better. But in order for him to be the name he thinks he is, or at
Hmm.
least he portrays himself as a character, he's got a long way to cover.
Oh God,
Like by a country fucking mile.
right.
Uh where like I was watching the Paving the Way podcast, believe it or not. I do watch other than our product, surprisingly.
I honestly, I don't want it. And as of right now.
Well, podcasting is a different animal. Cause I watched Chilling with the Villain with Marty Skrull.
Hmm.
Good to see him back. Way to go, brother. Um, he actually acknowledged I existed. Kind of marked out like a little girl. Not gonna say.
You little fucking bitch.
I was, dude. I was like in such a way. Uh,
It happens.
but I was listening to Medusa because I don't have any real interaction with that end of the product. I predominantly deal with the Twitch stuff, right?
Right.
And they were discussing a lot about the female heels who were two of the best that would come to mind. And this was after I've spent a few years getting to understand from a Legends perspective what I would never understand as a fan.
Hmm.
Like, and she doesn't talk inside baseball with me. We don't talk inside baseball here. Just how it works.
Right.
Uh, but it is nice to know to a degree that I'm not the only one who sees certain things. Like
Oh yeah. I dissect a lot of shit. I just don't talk about it all the time, and that's
yeah,
because I want to make sure most of it.
like here's a couple of things that threw my mind that she was talking about, and then I kind of have the other side of that spectrum to go with. It was brought up, in to the audience, to the chat, two women heel characters that are currently in the E.
Hmm.
And the two resounding heel characters that people were really into was Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss.
I
They
miss
just
Nikki
need to
Cross.
give them time to work. What?
I said I miss Nikki Cross.
I do too. There is an unsubstantiated rumor that the actual return is this Friday because they are building everything off the Firefly Funhouse timeline.
It should be interesting.
Right. But more to Medusa's point, I agree. Give them time to cook. And my thought is it has to be a slow burn because the thing with the Fiend, it became every other episode. Every episode, it became too much.
And eventually it gets boring.
Yeah, there is no magic when it's overseen. Like, why do people love The Miz so much? Because you don't see him every fucking episode, and he doesn't have to be.
No, there's no reason for it.
Right? It's like AJ Styles, same fucking thing. You know,
Right.
it's the people who are most beloved do not need to be seen in any consistent manner. It doesn't need to be.
It's better when you space it out.
Yeah. What is it? Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Which, going by the timeline, because Bray was doing a similar thing to Alexa's program with Charlotte. Like, that's the feud that this is probably going to lead to. If they're following that same line, Alexa's first feud heading up is going to be putting Charlotte in her fucking place.
Charlotte needs to go away.
I think Charlotte's stock needs to be taken down a little, but I don't think she needs to go away.
She just comes back and gets everything she wants.
I don't think she needs a title. I think she needs to be as far away from that title as possible. She needs to be that, that bitch.
Just be a heel and just do what a heel does without having a championship.
Right. Learn from Roxanne Perez. She didn't have the title for a good minute, and she was still that bitch.
Oh yeah,
she
knows what she's doing.
Right, still that important. And now that there's an alluding to Roxanne joining the Judgment Day, that should be fun.
I can actually see that.
It's already kind of working its way, and with Liv out doing her movie thing, which according to everybody I can find, production crew and otherwise, she is killing it.
Really?
Yeah, she is killing it. I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. I will always reference Pac. Look, she has her own YouTube channel, and you can find her trying to build her chicken coop in Jersey, which is hilarious. And you're like, wait, this is Liv Morgan chasing and fixing her chicken coop? What the
it's crazy. You don't think a lot of these people will do certain things outside of their wrestling career, and look what they do.
Yeah, and yeah, Mandy Rose just brought her YouTube channel back. She just did a whole thing with her mom, like maybe a day ago.
The only thing I knew about that she was doing was that OnlyFans crap, but I've never even seen that.
She's transitioning over.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's much in the same way that Sasha Grey transferred over from the adult entertainment industry to being one of the top gaming Twitch streamers, family-friendly content, as well as being a writer and an owner of several different companies and whatnot. It's wild, isn't it? We live in these times. 2025 is wild.
So much different shit that is ridiculous.
It really is. And we have Money in the Bank coming up right now. We have, unlike many years prior, we have not had that many declares for Money in the Bank. We've had matches kind of going on for it, with obviously there's going to be a buy or two, right?
Oh, definitely.
Well, we haven't seen the men's matches really thrown out there. We've seen the women's, which I really wanted to see Kyrie in the end, but I get it. That's not
maybe they had something major planned for the men's.
Here's my theory, based because the crowd controls your push, right? And WWE has been quietly allowing Cross to do his shit. Carrying Cross, not
Yeah, I know who you're talking
right. Well, you have to differentiate.
about.
Otherwise, Justin will be like, "Why is Nikki Cross going to be in Money in the Bank? Are you high? Can't allow my in time brother to, flail like that."
I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you.
She's crazy enough it could work. At least, now, gimmick wise. Otherwise, she's smart and she has a master's degree in history. Yeah, dude. Didn't you know?
I think I heard something about that. I
Yeah.
forget who told me. Somebody told me about that. See, I try to learn so much, but like it's hard to keep up with every little thing.
Yeah.
But I heard that somewhere.
Probably from me, because I'm one of those guys who, when, as I talked earlier, I gave our best wishes and
Hmm.
our thoughts and prayers to Thunder Rosa, her kid doing the hospital thing. Not cool.
No.
It's especially as a dad, I get it. And considering all the children you watch over in your chat, there's a couple you'd be concerned over. I'm not
I'm
wrong.
not gonna get started on that.
I, you're
I feel
not
like
telling
a,
me I'm
I
wrong.
feel like a fucking babysitter.
It's because you are. But I, it is. It really fucking is. But to that line, I am hoping because the guy put over a feud he wasn't even involved in has been the catalyst between getting four feuds that nobody expected to see, that clearly the startup
Hmm.
was very difficult for them to, as during those block shot moments where, if you don't pay for the without commercials, you don't see it, which is bullshit, but I think it's a test. you know, where the fans, sometimes it's a mix, but overwhelmingly, like when Cross got eliminated from that match,
Right.
the fans, it was audible. There was,
I was shocked as well. I was like, I thought he was gonna win the whole thing.
yeah, it's like, what? What? You had it right there.
Yep. And then you did that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, yep, we know he's gonna win this.
And, knowing what I've known about the guy's entire career that I've ever heard anything about him, and it's been a while. Um, he likes the slow burn. He likes the heel you can understand, but you sure as fucking hate him kind of a thing.
Hmm.
And he's been pulling that, like, I love the new shirt, the Puppet Master shirt. I think it's one of the most original, and he's like the top seller in the fucking shop. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah. You're right.
yeah he was outselling fucking everybody, right? And this is a dude who's getting no TV time, no match time, and didn't even need to put his gorgeous wife on the front. Like, the fuck, dude?
It's never gonna. I highly doubt it's gonna change.
I think it is, because he's got fan traction. I know he's got social media traction. He's got a book coming out in August, which they love to get behind that shit.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a video on that on X.
Yeah, I had my pre-order the day he announced it. Look, he's been one of my favorites for fucking ever. Don't you start. I'm allowed to mark about a couple of them, all right? I've already embarrassed myself in front of one, damn it. So, and with Scarlett and Shotzi, their channel is growing a lot. Like, you could ignore the wrestling stuff. If you're not watching the Scarlett and Shotzi YouTube channel, You were in the wrong. You need to just quit this, watch this.
I don't know. I still can't believe they released her.
Uh, you know what? I honestly think that it is for the best.
I can see her ending up in TNA to be honest.
Bingo. I could
She
see her.
looks like she would fit perfect.
Yeah. Could you
Oh, she can
imagine?
actually, to be honest with you, I can see her doing something being part of the K.
I was just gonna say that she could work Decay. You know,
Oh yeah.
I would fucking love that. Maybe bring back Jessica Havoc for a little reunion, three women tag, something they used to do way back when.
She just had a match on Saturday, correct?
I believe so. Yes, I was kind of crashed out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an outline that I had for it, but I didn't watch it. But yeah, I could have sworn I saw that.
Yeah, I could watch that woman eating a bowl of cereal and it'd still be amazing to me. Havoc. What? She is. You just don't know till you've seen her work. You know as well as I know. Yeah, I really hate the idea of people shitting on things they don't understand.
Oh, I would never shit on her.
It's like
I'm just
Zoe.
laughing at the whole cereal thing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I still need to see her getting sent with a loaf of bread, but working on that. So, like, there was a match apparently where Zoe Stark, when they went through the motions with her match, she twisted her, like, she probably
I,
tore.
I saw it in slow motion. Oh my! I was like, holy shit! It was gross, but I'm like, oh my god! Yup. Oh,
And
she's gonna be out for a long time if she even comes back.
yeah, depending on how severe it is,
Like the way
you
that
know,
she just it looked like in a way it looked like how remember how Triple H tore his quad?
get. But it was her ACL MCL area, like it hasn't been addressed yet. Clearly,
Right. I don't think they're actually gonna announce that right away, regardless.
yeah, no, it's like as another example, which really frustrates me, is the Nia Jax chair spot, right? Where she didn't. It, when I looked at it and I slowed it down for my edification, because I like to know who's an unsafe worker, because I don't want to see great talent get hurt because somebody was being reckless and stupid, right?
Right.
What it looked like is that she wasn't able to lean. She didn't lean back far enough, like it was whether it was a restriction or something was going on, and it just came too forward too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a busted nose. You know, clearly she's not upset about it.
I
You
know
know,
you make up, you do whatever, and you move on.
right? It
Shit happens.
obviously wasn't malicious.
No.
Like it was just one of those things. It happened. You know, it's not fake. Ask Roddy Piper. The Bill Maher sure will tell you.
Hey, also don't forget about Nia Jax fucking breaking Becky Lynch's nose.
Yep,
That was bad. I'm like, why did you connect like that?
she connected like that because it was a planned spot, but there was a miscommunication.
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
Right. And instead of, you know, being the Irish chick she is, the Irish wrestlers will their leg could be mangled to the end of the world, but they would still finish that match.
Mhm.
Like McDonough, he got fucking brutalized, finished the match, and let me make sure I saw my. Okay, we're still good. Just making sure. Um, I saw my bit rate go down for a second, but like he got hurt, like hurt, and finished the match in every way possible because
They
that's
call him a tough son of a bitch.
yeah, that's what Irish wrestlers do. Like
I would have been do that. At least take a break and roll over there for a little bit.
yeah, it's and they'll protect each other to the fucking end, dude. Irish wrestlers are some tough fucking stock. Have most of their
I give him credit. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of his in the beginning, but I was like, he grew on me.
I like the joke that they're now using because people have talked shit about his big head and they've leaned into it. Like, dude, it might be a joke, but that's a fucking weapon in there. And I'm like, I didn't think of it that way, only because I've seen him and Balor for a lot of their careers together as a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, could you imagine a dude with a big head coming at the speed of Braun Breaker? Like,
oh,
that's your spine busted in half, dude.
yeah, no way.
But he is the Irish Ace. He is damn good. He has always been damn good. And it's sad that it took an injury for people to understand a lot of those matches he was in. He got those talent looking great, whereas most people probably couldn't. Not for a guy his size. I know we tangented, but it's coming the way back. So my theory based on audience reaction and how much edge and everything going is I think we're gonna see Cross in the Bank.
I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
I
Actually, here's a good point I should bring up. A guy that years ago, I forget what year it was, but guy that got himself over with the fans. Vince was obviously around at this time, and randomly out of nowhere, they stopped putting him out there because he was getting himself over. Because Vince didn't get him over, or whoever in the back didn't get him over. Remember Ty Dillinger?
Yeah, the Perfect 10, who was
Yeah,
now pretty rough shot in fucking NXT.
yeah, and he was getting himself over big time, and all of a sudden they stopped it.
Yep.
God forbid if somebody gets themselves over.
And that's something that we are noticing with the regime, whereas some people don't. The current audience is being acclimatized to long-term storytelling, and I think that's the part that's getting some of them. Is they're so used to the Vince McMahon, Tony Khan instant gratification booking into a corner, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's gonna take a couple years. There's just no doubt about it. We grew up on long-term storytelling.
Actually, that's the way it should be for the most part. But I mean, Tony Khan was doing that with AEW for a while, and then he stopped that fast.
Well, it's because he wasn't the one booking it. It's only in the last couple years, like when everything's taken a downhill, that Khan's been booking it. I know that for a fact. The reason
because he's losing people.
well,
I had to say that.
No, you're not wrong. It's when you have a professional, like you look at the booking of a Dusty Rhodes, um, and I go to Dusty Rhodes all the fucking time because arguably he's one of the best bookers the business has ever seen.
Oh, definitely, by far.
Because he was that surprise booking and he knew it.
And if he saw that you weren't getting into something, he got you into that part.
Right. He would adjust you a little bit. He would do little things, much in the same way Heyman is another good long-term booker.
Okay, right there, I don't know who would win in that predicament if they had if it was like a feud between Heyman and Dusty. I'd be like, I don't know who. I mean, Heyman's a genius.
He's been in the business since he was like 15 years old, working the camera.
Dusty, I mean, who would you say is better? Are they equal?
I'd I would say if you want a booker, I would say the booker would go to Dusty just because the plethora of experience.
Hmm.
But if you talk to Mike and making a performer better, I
Oh,
would say
that's
Heyman.
Heyman. That's Heyman all the way.
Like
That guy,
combined,
that guy does it like I still remember when he was they were having a feud with the Shield and everything way back when, and they saw Paul Heyman talking to him. He's like, "That was not me." I could not stop laughing.
it's
That's
it
not.
was
He's like,
so
"That's
good.
not me."
I love how it's us old people, right? Because let's face it, we're fucking old here. You
Don't
know, you
remind
have,
me.
you have to be 21 and up to be at the dive bar. They tell me, but they've got this new faction going on, and their first mind was not, you know, the Shield, the new Bloodline, or anything else like that. They went to the Dangerous Alliance. That was the first name they put out there.
Dangerous Alliance.
Arguably one of the most underrated factions of professional wrestling history.
Oh,
Actually, it's not even an argument; it's a fact. I'm putting my stamp on that shit now because you had it all, and it is because of Paul Heyman. And this is for some of you young people who listen that we even had Stone Cold Steve Austin because you could look at Stunning Steve, you can look at everything else that was done. You look at that promo set for that time he was in ECW. That was the birth of Austin, not
oh,
sitting on the
definitely.
fucking throne. That was it, And it's the same guy who made him a fucking star in WCW when it was so overinflated with blonde guys with muscles.
When Bischoff screwed up with him, he was in ECW. He was doing great, and Vince McMahon. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't lie here. He did the rest.
He did, but I think Austin did the rest.
He,
I,
I, maybe they both did. I'll say. I mean, I can not give Vince credit for that, but he
some
he was there, but he took ideas from other people. Also, you also have Vince Russo too.
don't get me started on
Yeah.
that
Anyway,
guy. I I admit he had his part to play in wrestling, but everything he built on after that fact
hmm
became a shit show and a half. Like, did he have some hand in the Attitude Era? Yes, a lot of people did. Okay, was he solely responsible for it? Fuck no.
no, there's a lot of people that had it in there, but he also had to have his ideas approved.
Yeah, of course. It's much in the same way with Heyman. Heyman is a great mind for the business, but sometimes you gotta go slow down there, homie. And you could still work his idea without being as extravagant. And that's still to this day the case.
Right.
Like, he's a genius. He has great ideas that would definitely get over, but you have a budget. There are limitations here. um, and that's kind of why I'm free flowing this is because we're talking about, I guess, in essence, great storytellers. And it's not just the guy producing you in the back. It's also, can you tell that story in the ring? Can you tell that story in a promo?
That's what a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, it's a moving parts factor.
Mhm.
Your booker has the overall scheme, but a good promotion will go, all right, this is where we're going. And if you have a writing team, they go, this is where we want you to go.
Mhm.
And then the performers are supposed to take what they've got as skills, talents, capability, and then make that happen. And if all three things line, then you have something magical. But if one of those key parts is off, then, Bray Wyatt is a prime example. Vince didn't like the way that Bray was so invested into the whole market. He had a very specific, he had an artist's vision.
Yeah, he's good. He was good. Very, very good.
I would have loved to have seen him later in life working as a producer.
He would have. He probably would have became the freaking lead.
Like, but you could tell that was a conflict. I mean, and I've said it a thousand times before. I swear, how do you get rid of a guy who's your top merch seller and had been for years?
Because he got rid of him because he doesn't like his he has better ideas than you do, and he's like, yep, fuck you.
Creative conflict.
Mm-hmm. If it's not his idea, it's nobody's idea. He doesn't want
Right. And that's part of the reason why his booking was stale. The fans weren't into it. A lot of people watched because that's what it was. And even with AEW, it's like, well, this is what I grew up watching, and there would be lots of throws of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, Paul and Sean and Shane and all those people in the back now are people who have spent a long time in the business who understand what it takes. Like, I'd say out of their producers, Abyss has probably got to be their best. No offense to Shane Helms. I love your work like you wouldn't believe, but he's a guy who got eyes on TNA when they were on the fucking, what was it, the Nature Channel or some shit. Uh, I can't remember that channel because I only care about the company.
I know there was Destination America.
Destination America. Yeah.
I had to make sure I had that freaking channel when it came on.
Yeah. And then you had to make sure you had a television company that would fucking have it available. And
yeah.
He was still one of those draws. Decay was a faction so over, love him or hate him, that they got Marilyn Manson to sign off on one of his songs as a ring entrance. Okay. And they were one of the few factions to get a mainstream song and not a home done deal. The next one was, after they did it, was AJ Styles with Blue Saraceno.
Yep.
Which I love how they're tapping into that. Do you know it still messes me up that the commentary team talking about Bullet Club history kind of messes me up?
I can't. I don't even want to start on that. I don't even want to try to think about Bullet Club history. There's been too many in this company. They're in this company. It's like no. I'm done.
I mean, it's termed as a gimmick. I mean, the Bullet Club spanned like 5 different fucking companies with some of the most notable names in the business, most of whom now are in the E.
I mean, you did have Jay White. I mean, Juice Robinson. I mean, we're talking about Tony Khan here, naming it Bullet Club Gold. I'm like, really? Bullet Club Gold? Seriously? I think he listened to the fans when he said, yeah, that's not a good idea. That's not a good name.
Yeah, but if they would have played it like the Bullet Club, which, let's face it, I love the concept, but they were nothing more than a knockoff version of the NWO, which is fine. Okay? Every gimmick has been done to some degree somewhere at some time.
Oh, yeah, you can't. It's like, it's very hard to go up with something new.
Right, because new is with a business that has spanned since the 1700s.
It's like TNA with the Aces and Eights. That's another version of the NWO. And it's like, it's hard.
That faction could have been the best ever if it wasn't for shitty booking.
I didn't mind them, but the ending with Bully and Hardy in the cage, I was like, that's awesome. I actually went back after I recorded it to VHS at the time. That's how old it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back, I rewound the freaking tape, and I watched that whole match again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just kind of going over it recently because I had fond memories, but rose tinted glasses and all that, right? And you could tell in the beginning where it was going, and you can even see shades of the Judgment Day. You know, the clubhouse, the vesting, and things of that nature. They might not wear the same patches, but there's a similar line following there, right?
Right.
But you could tell towards the end they were rushing to just stop it because somebody made shit decisions in the median
Hmm.
and they just had to get it over with. And hats off to Bully Ray for, doing his singles breakout because that really was his singles breakout.
Well, yeah, he could do it all.
Like everybody, for their part, like
The
him.
only person, the only person that didn't do that great. I mean, obviously, I mean he did good, but I think he's better with Bully in the tag team is Devon.
Yeah.
Reverend Devon.
Yeah. And Devon's problem was he was shoehorned in just to give him a spot into the process. And granted, Devon knows his shit. He's still working for TNA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is. Shit, he's the first person that Batista worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Deacon Batista.
Which was when he was fun.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, and that's one of those things. Go to more to the point of every gimmick's been done to some degree. Uh, but bad booking coming from your booker leads to shit decisions down the line.
Sometimes
And
I got the hard way.
and if you have a good booker with shit writing or shit, situational, leads to bad. Like everything's got to be lock and step. When I couldn't remember who interviewed it, and you'll probably be able to tell me better. The What was it? It was the one thing that's very nice about WWE is that they're a larger company, but they have a very understood process. It's
Oh
not,
yeah, it's because they all communicate.
yeah, it's not thrown to shit, and you can kind of tell whether it's being written or acknowledged. Oh, yay, Jessica Havoc's on. Um, uh, I know your Steam notifications. You're like, oh hey, we like to put talent over here. I think even Leva Bates might be on. Which happy birthday again to her. Uh, but we're just in that cycle, and I think that's what Triple H's changeover is a good degree. I do think that um Russell Talks and some of these shows need to quit doing heavy speculation on the backstage because WWE is short a lot of that shit up. Uh,
A lot of people need to stop talking like that with the drama. Just enjoy the freaking show.
right. Enjoy the product. We're never going to get kayfabe back. That's a fact. It's fine. You know, but the important point are modern day superheroes. It's no longer comics. Comics have went by the wayside. We don't have any decent TV shows that provide that. Professional wrestling is where your modern heroes come from.
And let's hope, either in the last week of May, first week of June, SmackDown goes back to 2 hours.
Uh, that is my understanding. Yes,
Even the WWE crew in the back want that.
that is my understanding because it's a lot.
It's too much.
We complain at it as exactly it's too much wrestling because you have so many points and brands. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. That and it's like Kevin Nash once said. It's like 3 hours, and unless it's a pay per view, you don't leave enough surprises for the following week.
Mm,
But regardless, I mean that's why WCW went back to 2 hours because they even said it. Yeah, this is way too much. Joke, that's a joke.
well, my problem with Kevin Nash being the author of that statement is this is the same guy you couldn't work 2 weeks without tearing his quad. So I see a lot of his points on the business, but my major concern has always been you get a right to, sorry, let me correct myself. You get credibility to talk about the grander scheme of the business when you have actually drawn money to the business.
Yeah.
And while it was nice he was part of the NWO, to be honest, you could have replaced him with anybody else. What made the NWO outright was the style and Hogan.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we saw how quickly that fell apart when there was no Hogan. They were still there. You saw him go to TNA. He flopped fucking hard.
Oh god.
Razor Ramon did okay because everybody loves the bad guy, but he also drew fucking money. And that's, people can say a lot of things, but you know, you have to look at, no matter how big or small, how many people actually showed up to a show because of you. Because
Right.
you understood how to get over. Buying tickets is not fucking cheap.
Dude, let me tell you something. Years ago, when I used to go to WWF shows and like
Mm-hmm.
Raws and SmackDowns, and I couldn't afford nothing but nosebleed, I paid 25, 30 bucks the most.
Right.
Now, my mom actually looked up something that's coming to Boston, a Raw or something, and she looked up just nosebleed. $115 or some shit like that. I'm like, they can
Mm-hmm.
keep it.
Mm.
I won't pay that.
I don't know. I'd pay for your mom to go to a wrestling show.
Oh,
I got jokes. Seriously, I'd say that shit just to make him head shake. His mom is a saint and a lady, and anybody who says otherwise, I will throw shit at you. I have
but yeah, she was shocked. So.
cats. I made you head shake so much the Bostonian has left your body.
Oh man. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Gotta have a laugh and an inappropriate joke at least once on this show. Otherwise, why are we here? See? It's normally about butts, but there's only dudes here, and we're not talking. Look, if we were going to talk about butts, we could at least talk about Bailey and Stephanie Vakir, all right?
I have another butt in mind.
It, okay, if we're cross branding, then we got to go Rosemary, Samantha Starr, and somebody else in mind, and I can't quite place it. Oh, Liv Morgan. It, I mean, you're laughing. You're giving this weird look, but let's be real.
We're
It's
from
not about.
WWE to TNA back to WWE.
Well, I mean, it's all the same company now. Fuck. If you read the internet. I didn't know because I also switched to NWA, you Philistine. You know what? And I have to add Tessa Blanchard.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, it's not the size of the show, it's the
No,
quality of the
she's a
product.
very beautiful woman. I ain't gonna take that away from her.
God, no. I could. What is it with the TV screen lying to you about how tall people are? What the fuck?
They do that about the weights and all the weight and all that shit, dude. Don't even listen to it. It's like
No.
if you try googling that weight and stuff, it's like it's totally off.
Okay, look. It's when you have seen someone on TV like Tessa and you know that they're a certain height and then you meet them in person and you're like, "Were you taller?" And it's not because of the billing, and I realized what it was, and it's taken me a couple of weeks to kind of unfuck my head around it.
Right.
It's people who you find exceptional, you always view larger than life, and that kind of translates to our brain to be something bigger, you know. And that's exactly what it was for me. Because I was like, shouldn't you be like 7'4"? And I know that wasn't in my head, but you know, like I look tiny as fuck on the screen, but I'm tall. I'm taller than people.
Well, I'm 6'2".
I'm 6 foot. See, we look tiny as fuck. That's because we're on your screens and you're not full screen because you're watching other shit.
And I'm tired as fuck.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Yeah, we're here pouring the midnight oil. We had opportunity, but we were like, wait, no, Amanda, we're totally doing this. This is the first episode of The Chaser in 3 years that has talked about, in some capacity, ladies' butts. And
You're
we
gonna get the
didn't,
sexual harassment lawsuit sent to you.
well, we were respectful, we were appreciative.
That's why I watched what I said.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, we're not gooning in the wrestling corner because that's just wrong.
No,
Nah, it's
ain't those typical freaking box that freaking. Yeah, let's not
like,
go there.
because that really struck me in a chord with Soraya, you know, don't try and, like kiss these performers when it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? That's,
Yeah, she has no look. She's a beautiful girl. I'm not gonna take that away from her. A lot of people have
but
whatever
no,
fantasies about her, but you still don't do that shit.
no, and
Keep it in your mind, and that's it.
I, it's like it's great that you idealize and put a woman like that on a pedestal, but let's face it, the average Joe is not close enough to be in her stratosphere. And that's not,
Do you know what I think also did it too? That didn't help matters. This is all due respect to her
no,
if she's even
fair. But
if she's even watching. I think it didn't
I,
help that leak that happened,
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's what got a lot of those marks going
Because
crazy.
it gave a presumption
You have to
of
like, oh, that's gonna be
promiscuity.
yeah. It's
Not realizing that at least the guys involved in there had degrees above high school, were world renowned, well known, and had money.
man, one was married.
I can't say to that point, but
They actually went. They actually did went through that in TV on Raw. It was
uh,
hilarious.
yeah, and it's funny as hell. Like they gotta. I'm glad we're away from that shit because
I didn't even care, but when they mentioned it, I laughed. I was like, "All right, time to move on. Let's go. Come on."
yeah, it's like can we get back to it? It's like and there were a lot of things, people look back at content like the Attitude Era with rose tinted glasses, how great it was. And I'm not saying there weren't great moments, but there was just a lot of muddy shit that didn't add anything to anything. And that that tainted a lot of views, like a lot of the hardcore wrestling. It was niche, it was small, and ironically, it was very foreign, right? And when it became mainstream, and I'm not blaming ECW for this, a lot of people blame ECW for this. I blame McMahon. ECW was, let's face it, it was never going to be the large scale company. It was breaking even, it was doing well, but it was never marketed or designed to be a huge product. It just wasn't going to happen. Right? It,
Nah,
you knew that.
they were happy the way they were. They didn't need
Right.
everything else. It's like they didn't need no freaking entrance videos.
Yeah, and they cut corners, and part of what made that iconic is because it was the very few outlaw wrestling shows, and it was smart business. But when it became mainstream, when you
That's when
had
they should have watched out, but Paul Heyman didn't care. Unlicensed music.
yeah, betcha. Well, there's a whole thing to that, and he just
Yeah, I know about it.
Have you ever seen the Paul Heyman documentary?
Hmm.
It's a great point. I mean, he took a gamble, he took a risk, he minimized his costs, and it got attention. And if it, Paul Heyman is the Kevin Bacon of modern professional wrestling. You are 3 to 4 steps away from Paul Heyman, no matter who you work with.
That's a good.
So
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
it just, it's the way it is. And like, if you're a women's wrestler, you're probably 3 to 4 from Medusa. You're at least 5 on to Lilani Kai. A lot people don't think the legends and the like a lot of the big men. If you notice their styles are fairly similar, which means very similar people are training them. You know, the ones that are standouts for their move set, like an AJ Styles, is because he didn't have that semblance of training. He has a heart and a mind for the business. You know, that's not everybody does. Like
No, definitely not.
there will always be people who like the Briscoes, amazing fucking talent, especially you know, as a tag team. What they didn't have in a lot of semblance of training, they made up for in look and knowledge of the business. We will never see another the Dem Boys as they were.
No, no
We'll
way.
never see anything like them again. You can't recreate that magic. Like there, there's just a lot of performance. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of things and a lot of hype that we will never see. And arguably, there are performers like an Eddie Guerrero and whatnot. And I've been avoiding this name for a while because he did have a birthday. Um, which I'm going to use the Paul Heyman statement before I even mention this. In terms of talent, in ring acumen, and a business,
I know it.
Chris Benoit was generational. As a person and everything else he did, fuck him. And I hope people piss on his grave like he's the postal dude. Like, and we can say that about a lot of people. Believe it or not, some of your favorite stars, and I think this is a
We
great,
be here all night.
uh, sure as fuck. Like, you don't even want to talk about those Highlander promotions and some of the shit that's gone on there. Woo.
No, 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 please.
Yeah, no. I don't want to have to use the word allegedly like 90 fucking times. But point being is that you have talent out there who has, you know, are really great but really shitty people. And you have talent who are really shitty and really great people. And you will people don't understand. Like, as an example, and you see this weekly, bunch of times a week, where somebody's like, "That's a botch. That's a botch." I'm like, "Bitch, have you ever been in the fucking ring? Have you ever trained outside of lifting your feet off the couch? Do you know how any of this shit works?" It's like shit on Miro all you want because he's still with CJ, but at least he's still with his wife. He didn't divorce her. Really, they were separated. You listen to these guys that think they fucking know everything when they don't. They're not in the back. They're not real reporters. They're going off rumor and innuendo. They might know a guy who knows a guy. And more often than not, they're wrong.
Yep.
You know, Sean, like, we can go through Sean Ross Sapp, fucking, we can go through a Dave Meltzer. We can go through the Wrestle Talks. Wrestling Unlimited, I think, has been the only, like, notable podcast that has actually been fair. Yet he's boring to a large degree, but he's never reported on anything he couldn't validate. Like, that's the thing, man. It's you as wrestling fans don't hate the professional wrestling media as much as you think you should. Because they don't know. They think they know. And a lot of times they're being fed bullshit just to swerve their audience another way. And then they take 3 or 4 months of backing down from any rumor, but they know they can't quit the topic because without that, they don't have a business. And you got
a lot of this we should talk about when Amanda's just here.
Oh no, this is gonna be a part 2, but we the boys. We're having a boys' night out, so to speak, for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're not gonna hog the spotlight from Amanda. She'd never forgive us because we didn't once get into the curvature, nature, and the physics rounding of someone's ass on program. She's gonna watch this and she's gonna yell at me. I want you to know, for content, for you people that love us, I'm putting my health on the line where Amanda's gonna kill me.
Yeah, she'll get over it.
I mean, she's always got you, so there's a backup. That's always nice.
Oh, you're right.
You're picking up the business.
Yeah, it's coming to me. That's crazy.
Okay. So before we get into our closing, pick a topic, any topic off the top of your head, something you think would be interesting to do something brief to talk about. You do you.
Something that would be great to talk about.
Can be anything. In the world of wrestling, we're not doing a Fainting Ghost episode. Again.
What did I just talk about?
I'm really surprised I wasn't fired for that.
I mean, we already talked about Charlotte. She's talked about enough. I got it. This one's an easy one.
Okay.
Mercedes.
Ah, yes.
It was pointed out tonight.
Okay.
She lost the New Japan Women's IWGP title, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went after her. I forget the girl's name. It's the one with the redhead there.
Was it Mariah May who's doing the? Was it with or without puppets? That kind of helps.
Without.
Okay, so that takes her out.
Red hair. She's married to Roderick Strong.
Fuck, I know you're talking about. I'm not drunk enough, but we know she exists.
Well, yeah, and then she attacked her. That was that. That's a sign that she's gonna be dropping more titles soon.
But
that's another overrated person, and nobody can stand her. She thinks she's always good luck. She might have a body, but she's not.
Well, I mean, I'd even debate the body, but I've got a type. Let's be real.
She knows. She's the typical woman that knows how to work her body.
Right. I mean, everybody's got a type. I'm not gonna shame that part.
No.
But everybody's biggest turnoff, if we look down the line, is because she's not being produced. She's not being guided in a way that makes sense.
No, she's Mercedes Hogan. Mercedes Boya.
I don't don't even think it's Hogan. I like, why does she not have the IWGP? Holding on to that title requires one of two things. You're either really over with the fans or you're Japanese. She's not either.
Maybe Tony Khan did something.
Mm, I don't think that's the case, but I think maybe that had a part to play in it. But let's look at where she was at. Okay, she damn near cost Naomi her fucking career.
They were tag team champions and they both dropped in and walked out. And I really don't think Naomi wanted to do that, to be honest with you.
No.
She just, I think she honestly followed her and then regretted it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, even
She bitches out. She goes to Japan. She can't hang in a dojo. She can't get over with the crowd there. And they gave it a shot. They tried to put her over. It didn't work with the Japanese audience, not because she wasn't attractive or any of that. It was because her ring work.
The Japanese audience doesn't look for attraction. They look for the wrestling.
Right. And the attraction and everything else comes after the fact. Like when you put Mercedes next to Mina Shirakawa, who could wrestle fucking rings around her and still look 15. That's basically an average Japanese woman if you've ever fucking been over there. All kind of tiny ladies. It's a thing. You know, she couldn't hang. Why? She had it. And then she kept that title because they were putting the business together, right? So seeing Japan behind it, seeing AEW behind it, a lot of these other smaller promotions jumped their dick on the bandwagon, right? But to this point, nobody had actually seen her really cut a long form promo, work the match with anybody beyond Bailey. You know, yeah, it wasn't
It's
just.
probably going to be a decent match on Sunday's pay per view for that, though. I ain't going to lie.
I don't think it's
decent, but the car is pretty decent. You're buying that for me, by the way.
I mean, I've already done everything else. I mean, fuck. I feel like you need to be buying me alcohol for a while. Shit. Or at least be giving your mom flowers and let her know she's special, because I'm that kind of dude who says love your mom and don't be a bitch.
Well, I could do that for you.
All right, there you go.
There you go. Pay-per-view bought.
All right.
Send the money, bitch.
I already sent. God damn it, boy. I'm not trying to play inside baseball, but I've supported this motherfucker. He's my bro. He's my family. But
dude, I react like that.
I would slap you in the dick so fucking hard right now.
I'm overtired.
I know. That's why this is hilarious. But I kind of like. Here's the thing: if they would have had a decent production point, where they had somebody kind of keeping the reins on her, being very not. She didn't spend any real time on the indies.
No.
So she doesn't know what it is to cut an audible. She didn't know a lot of these things, and WWE scripted her, and she should have taken that knowledge and learned it. And that's what they expected. But when she took, before understanding that knowledge, and she went there, and then Tony Khan became a Reddit star fucker, as he is wont to do. Put her in the fucking stands, didn't see her for almost a year. So she was already irrelevant to that point. And when they bring her in, you would think in her mind she would be ready to be top notch. She needed the best fucking promo she could pull. And she had the best promo she could pull. By best, I mean she wiped her ass with it and insulted the fans. But people held out hope that they were getting Sasha Banks, not Mercedes Moné.
You know what's pretty sad that she also did? When I first read this, I was like, oh,
okay.
That's twice would say. Here comes all the simps.
Okay.
When she decided that she was going to allow for so much a month, she can have conversations with fans through text messages. I'm like, if fans actually buy into this and do this, they're crazy. If you really think that's going to be her doing this and responding to you.
Oh, that was the joke made at Bailey's expense.
Like, was it? Because it was actually, she was actually doing this whole subscription thing.
Right. She was doing a thing and there was a little bit of bullshit. And it got cut on Bailey that, you know, well, if you pay that kind of money, you at least be able to talk to your best friend. Some shit like that. I was just like,
if that actually happened, I would have been like, really?
Jesus Christ, it's the WCW hotline all over again.
All right, man, come on.
All right, but we've exhausted our boy male brains. We have done things. We've held the line. All right. So Tom, as the co-host, as the proxy digi, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for you and what you've been doing for me.
I don't know how I should feel about that.
Helping me, that is.
I mean, I don't have much of an ego, so big hearts. I am thankful for our fans, our friends, our family, and finally, long-term booking is starting to catch on. But on that note, guys, gals, referees, commentators, this is going to be it for the male version, the boy version of the Chaser. We have Miss Amanda Jane back next week, and hopefully she can unfuck the birthdays.
And she'll talk your ear off.
Yeah. And on that note, cheers.
See you later, guys.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support Unbiased the Drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers.